Hi everybody, welcome to the Wild, Creative, and Confident, a video interview series where you can learn from the most inspiring industry leaders on how you can use your passion and creativity to design the life and the business of your dreams. I'm your host, Sarah Marie Thompson from wildandcreative.com, the creative success coach, and I am here today with Arna Baartz, who I've been following online for a couple years now. When someone says the word artist, I think of Arna because Arna literally has created art multiple times a day for every single day of her life. I swear, like she comes out with something new and amazing every single day. She's an artist, an educator, and a poet, and she has been finger painting from the beginning when her father, who is also a creative, encouraged her by taping paper to the walls of their home and letting her loose with paint. Her practice ranges in extremes from the creation of small and playful to large and serious. Most of Arna's work is an extension of her philosophical nature, bringing her gifts and personal insight and joy. Arna, you can find her on the art of kundalini.com. That's her website, right, Arna?
Yep, that's it.
Perfect. And she is extremely inspiring on her Facebook pages and her website. I have probably never seen a day when you haven't posted something of some kind of art that you've done. So I want to ask you, where do you get that kind of motivation or that inspiration to do art every single day? Because I know that even being an artist myself, some days I don't want to paint. I don't want to do anything like that, right? So where do you get it from?
Well, let me think. Let me clarify a little bit that there are days too where I don't feel able to do much creatively. You know, those days where you've woken up and you're just on a completely different plane to your normal existence, or something sucked you dry. You know, children. I shouldn't say that. Beautiful children. They need things, and sometimes it makes it a little bit hard to get in touch with the creative spirit. But I made a decision a number of years ago after listening to a man named Mike Parr, who is also he's a very well-known Australian artist, and he said something about every day just doing a little drawing or a little sketch or just something to, even if you didn't feel like it, to awaken your spirit or keep yourself on track. So I think after years of being up and down and doing a lot of parenting and other things, I found that art was a real lifesaver for me, and it got me connected to my inner being. So instead of letting it fall away as things can do, I made that commitment. And so now, even if I'm not quite there, I'll still have a bit of a scribble. And now I'm finding that scribble has become a real art form for me. So it can lead you, doing a little bit even when you're not really into it, can lead you somewhere that you didn't expect.
That's a really good point. Like even taking like a Post-it note size and, you know, doodling something on that kind of every single day. Now you also have 8 children.
Yes, that's correct.
And you are so creative and get to really give yourself that time to be really creative. So how does that work? And has that changed over the past few years for you, or?
Well, I think art is a beautiful choice when you have a lot of children, because it's something that you could, people might relate to that who have children too, that it's something that you can turn to when the children are going a bit wild or something, you know, they're bored or whatever. It's like, oh, well, how about this? Some paint and paper. And that really served my purpose. So together we would do a lot. And, you know, all of my children have a creative, I believe we all are creative. I think that's what we do every day with our thoughts. We are beginning to manifest, where our thoughts are a template for our physical or our external experience and world. And I think that's quite literal. But then, you know, so with art, that's a beautiful place to practice that. And so I just think it's having children is it's just another opportunity to do more art, because we throw it out. We'll roll out big canvases, and that is a really good way to get kids involved in something that you don't have to be there stimulating them. They then find their own creative juice and journey and make an excellent background for whatever next thing I decide to produce.
So you said that in your bio there that your dad really helped influence your creativity when you were young. But were you always a very creative person? Like, were you always a very inspired person? And when did you really start doing art almost every single day?
Okay, there are a couple of questions in there. Dad is a major influence in my life. And not just positively, my dad is a very intense artist. He doesn't call himself an artist now. He's retired, which is really quite another conversation. I don't know how you can retire, but because he seems to be doing weird creative things still. But when I was a baby, I don't know, I think we're born with that, as I said before, that creative spirit. And because he was doing it, practicing it, art, he was an art teacher at college and all sorts of stuff. And my mum also very creative, did a lot of writing. So there's a lot of poetry, a lot of books and a lot of art going on and a lot of arty people that we were mixing with. And Dad used to do some pretty wacky things with us. Like, I remember being rolled up in gauze and when I was about 3, when I was naked, this tiny little naked baby rolled up in gauze and then unrolled as Dad took time-lapse photography, and I emerged as this caterpillar butterfly creature. But anyway, things like that.
You were always a work of art.
Always, everything. So I think it was a programming as well, and I was conditioned to be seeing life in this other way, not just, it wasn't straightforward. It was really unusual, and so that gave a kind of pleasure, but also it made me question a lot of things as I was growing up. Having those two people and that such an intellectual / artistic childhood, it was very philosophical for me. And I suppose to answer the question of when did it start, the philosophical or nature of it for me, the inspirational stuff, I remember switching on pretty early and looking out the window and just thinking, is everyone seeing this the way I'm seeing this? And I think I even verbalized it. I asked the question one day of my parents, and I don't think I got an answer. I don't know, I don't remember the answer, but it was a strange thing. And being tiny and looking up at the sky and thinking, is this a dome? Are we in a balloon? How big does this universe go? And I was only 4 or 5 thinking these thoughts. So that's probably when the connection, the real cognitive connection began. And as far as art doing every day, I had a big break because, to go back to my dad being very, inspirational, but also he forced me to question myself. He didn't say a lot. He didn't give a lot of positive criticism or he just didn't say a lot. So I assumed a lot, and I felt there was a lot of discrepancy in our relationship, emotional disconnect and stuff. So there was a lot of questioning going on. So there was a time period between probably 12 and 20 that I didn't do very much art. Like I started having babies young, but I wasn't doing a lot. And it was around the 2021 that I began to get into art, and it began to be my thing that I needed to do. But I also wrote a lot, did a lot of writing. So that was very arty thing. So I was always doing something, but probably in the last 10 years, it's been every day.
It's crazy. It's amazing and crazy at the same time. Did you always know when you were younger, or even, as you were having your children, that you would get to this place now where, technically you're living a very happy life? You're creating every single day. You're living in harmony with, all your children. I don't know if they're all still home or not. But, did you ever think that you would get to that place?
I'm not sure. I started really seeking when I was about 16. So I began reading books like I don't know if you've heard of Ramtha channeled stuff, and Seth Speaks and the Louise Hayes stuff. I started to pick them up. My mum had been reading them, and to flick through, and began seeking happiness. I began realizing I wasn't happy as I could be or should be. I began realizing how dissatisfied I was early, which then, sent off rockets of desire. So I didn't always know, but I chose to develop a knowing of that so that I could hold the vision strongly that I am okay and that I can have what I want. And as I ask those questions, it's just a process over years of becoming more and more confident, because I wasn't really very confident. I was such an introspective creature, but also, it was a really strange dual thing, introspective, but yet really, I loved being out and doing and being with people and making art and doing all that, but had this thing inside me. So there was a big seeking going on quite early. To answer the question, I didn't know, but I've grown to know that is how we all could be over time, to become one with ourselves and confident and happy in life and to deserve it. I think that a lot of us think we don't deserve to have it all. And so each time something comes up for me, I go, no, if I want to make a lot of money, if I want to experience my relationship on an even deeper level, if I want to have a great connection, I shouldn't be feeling ashamed of all of those things, so just being whole on earth. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't always know, but yeah.
What's your connection with nature, and how does that really help your art?
Because I see nature as myself, as I don't feel, it's sort of like if I step out into the bush, which we're surrounded by, into the rainforest, or onto the grass, my feet on the grass, it's an instant reminder that I'm connected to everything and that I'm okay. So that in itself, it's a soothing. It gives me clarity and space, and then I'm able to create properly from a space of alignment with all that is. So nature is very important, but also along the journey, I've realized that I don't, as much as I get a great, beautiful feeling when I'm in nature, I'm learning to not distinguish so much between nature and man-made, be able to find my alignment in either and see them both as beautiful and fundamentally natural. So it's a strange answer that I didn't expect.
How do you find that how do you yourself see yourself as being very unique as an artist online? I mean, personally, I can say that your art is very consistent. Like, it's always so different and amazing, but your style is very consistent. So I think it really does set you apart online from many artists. But how do you see yourself as being really unique?
Ooh. Well, that I've spent a long time discovering my what I love in art, because I didn't really know. I was kind of painting to impress my father, and that wasn't working because it just does. That's not how it works. It took me a while to realize what gave me joy. He's very abstract, and I thought that's the way I should go, because that's what I thought was good art, because that's what he said or what I saw him enjoying. So over the years, I had to break out and have the courage to be more decorative and more colourful and more figurative and just experiment and do until I realized what I love. So this style, it is something that I really enjoy doing, the colourful, swirly, inky watercolour stuff. But the form isn't the point. I think what makes me feel like maybe I'm unique is that, and I don't know, I mean, we all are all unique, is that it's not the form, it's this feeling that I get when I make art. So I can make some massive abstract works now that aren't that I'm not beholden to Dad for his his approval. I've found my beautiful feeling in the huge abstract, or the weird inky, or the scribble, and I'm also allowing myself to enjoy the swirly decorative figurative stuff. So I think the uniqueness, or uniquity, is that a word? Did I make that one up? I think I might have made that one up. Is in that it's the essence that transcends all form. So, you know, and the realness, I think we need more reality, as in more personal integrity, where people can say or be or do whatever they want, really in alignment with love, and it be okay, instead of trying to, you know, because I've experimented with trying to make things, promote or market things to suit other people, but really I like to see more of the being real thing.
You create a lot of art that has a lot of like the feminine form in it, and I was just wondering, do you feel that if you hadn't had as many children, or even become a mother for that matter, would that have changed that?
Wow, that's very hard to know. That's a speculation, because what was I doing prior to having children? I had babies when I was just 17. So I had twin boys when I was just 17. So it's a very hard question to answer. I'm not sure. I think that I think I was very much physically focused when I was really little. I was really aware of my body. I was aware of sensuality from very young. I had a lot of experiences early that could be considered negative experiences, that have all led into me exploring the feminine. So I do that in my writing and as well. And I think that probably I would have head in that direction regardless, because I needed to understand me. It's all kind of all self-portraiture, and if it's not physical form, in the form, it's essentially I'm exploring this feeling that I have inside, these feelings of seeking and connection and universe and stuff.
What do you think has been your greatest achievement to date when it really comes to personal power and understanding yourself to the point where you've created that ease and flow in your life?
Well, the biggest achievement on a personal level is, in relation to that very specifically, is the discovery that although we seek and we ask questions and we're finding the answers, and people have the knowledge and they have the books and all of that sort of stuff, it was really one day I just went, oh, the answer to everything is relaxing my tummy. You know, it was for me it was a huge achievement. I think that I'm answering the question on a more personal kind of emotional, spiritual level, but to realize the simplicity of finding enlightenment moments. Enlightenment as a whole is just something that you will have when you die. But I think just as enlightenment moments that we seek we seek so hard, but it's really about very physically relaxing the body, and relaxing the body and the tummy and the neck and the throat, the bottom and all the body, puts you into a state of, it puts you really into the moment, and then insights occur, clarity, you get the answers to the questions that you asked previously. But it's just relaxing, even in the middle of pain. If we can relax into it and through it, we get big gifts. So that was my major achievement. It was so simple. It just made me laugh on the day I realized it, that I'd read like about 5 million books, but this was the answer.
Do you think that it's easier for you as an artist to create when you're sad or happy?
I'm much more motivated when I'm happy, when I'm feeling good, when I'm relaxed. And I think either way is fine because it's all expression and it's all important. But it's like speaking. Art to me is like living. You can go to it feeling tight and hurt, and it can be the thing that brings you back into alignment and connection with your inner being and all that is. And that has its perfect purpose, and then that can lead into great artworks. And healing. But I am endeavouring more and more in my life to come to it from a place of alignment, because it's more exciting to me to come from there, and it's sort of more quickly the process turns into something very fulfilling. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit of an addiction to get to that place and come from happiness, if possible.
What is now I call this a creative bliss. It would be like the perfect artistic situation where you feel so inspired and creative. I'll give you an example. This is a very small example, but I love painting on a really cloudy day when it's kind of miserable out and just you're at home, you can make some tea, maybe watch a movie in the background. Like that's my favorite kind of time for painting. What is yours?
It usually involves no one else being around. That's a start. Much as I love having my children painting and doing all of that sort of stuff, I can really get into it. It's like a good book or good movie or good meal. Really, really get into it because there's so much discovery happens for me. Like I say, the answers are coming while I'm painting because of all the questions that I've asked when I've been wishing I was painting, when I have been in a desire mode or seek mode. So then I'm there. So it's usually when there's no one around, and it's usually when I've got space on either side of that painting too. So, I've got some space to lead up into it. And, to answer the question, the first thing that comes to my mind really is big open spaces. So large works really give me that exciting sense. Yeah, that's the greatest feeling, having a huge canvas rolled out on the ground.
So what do you do with all your art? Do you sell it online all the time? Do you have like rooms stacked with it? Is it in galleries? Like what are you doing with all this art you're doing all the time?
Well, I sell a lot of it online. So that's good. So that's my better pieces. So that's really good. I know that they are getting put somewhere beautiful and they're safe, because if they're not sold, they sit in folders in my room, in boxes, in folders, and I'll go to them and pull them out. I also give a lot away. I create, I suppose they're marketing or promotions where it enables me to include an art piece in it, which is very exciting to me. So I get to choose the art and I know it's going somewhere, and I assume it's being loved and looked after, but if it's not, that's not my business. So I give a lot away.
You can't call them up and ask them what they're doing with your painting.
Hey, what did you do with my painting? No, I think that would defeat the purpose of, it probably wouldn't be a return sale either. So, Yeah. So basically, a lot of them are in a lot of sketchbooks, but then I can go and revisit and cut them out and use them for other things. I turn them into products. So I take high-res photos of things and create products, cards, books, all sorts of little things that I think can, that I can get them out into the world, make some money for myself, but the pleasure of creating and having another crate of wonderful things turning up that you can then sell on, or give away as presents if they don't sell. And what else do I do? I don't really go out doing big exhibitions or putting them in galleries per se. It's a lot of hard work for me with the rest of my life. But I do enter competitions and I do hang, and that's fun. And I also roll them up and pile them up on the veranda. There's a pile of canvases that are rolled, and, and occasionally I'll get a client coming and they'll roll them all out, and hopefully, usually one will go, and that's great. So nice. That's what I do. I just keep going, wrapping paper. I use them for wrapping paper, nothing else.
You okay, there's so many artists online, right? There's so many artists out there online. And obviously you are unique in the way that you stand out with your art. I mean, I think I could pick it out of a crowd, definitely, which is
Really?
great.
Yeah.
How have you really gone the route of being creative with your business opposed to being competitive? And also, when has competition really affected you? And on a day-to-day, do you get affected by comparisonitis of other artists out there, or how do you deal with that?
Okay. I don't get affected. I get affected less and less and less by that, because I noticed early on that there were a lot of artists and a lot of very good artists out there. But the real answer to that is realizing for myself, and this might be a bit wacky for some people, that this is a vibrational universe, and there are a number of aspects that I like to believe in or contemplate, which serve my purpose. And one is that the entire universe is working with me. It is me with me, to bring the right people to me who want to see my art or buy my art, or what I do is, especially if I'm doing it while in alignment and creating from love with a deep, proper intention that's in alignment with myself, integrity, that vibrates at a certain frequency and the right people turn up, and that's just how it's worked. And the more calm and clear I am about that, the more relief I have, and the more it flows, the more the people flow. I can't complain about about not selling or selling, because I just believe it's in direct relation to my vibrational frequency. So there's room for everybody. As in this universe, sometimes I look at it as there's only me in this universe, and everybody and everything out there are just these beautiful, sparkling aspects of myself. And the more I see that as a positive way, when you can, like when you're directly in the front of somebody who's not being a shiny, sparkling light, then that's a whole other story. Then for me, I deal with that emotionally at the time, and look at it in retrospect and see where what's going on there within me that I could have changed. But really, there's just too much beautiful art and too many amazing artists out there to get caught up with that. If you get caught up with that, you're stuck. That's it. I can't have a lifestyle that's supported by my art. I can't live the life that I'm living now if I do that. So I can't do that. There's no comparison. Everyone's different. If anything, you look at an artwork and you think if you find yourself thinking it's better than yours, then stick with that. Stay there. Feel it. Why do I think this is better than mine? What is it? Do I want to learn something from this artwork? Do I want to incorporate something, or do I just want to absorb this beauty and allow this person to be the angel of art that they are? I don't know. That's the best I can answer that question.
Well, I don't know if it was something that really was not pushed, but just brought on us in school, in elementary school. But I don't really think that back then, at least for me, in art class, teachers really did tell everybody, like, look, all of your art is perfect in its own way. It would be like, draw a picture of a barn. Okay, well, look, ooh, Sally did this barn perfect, and yours is, you know what I mean? So it's like we weren't really promoted to just express ourselves however we wanted to. Abstract paintings and things like that, I found that in elementary school when we were younger weren't even really promoted, because it was more realistic drawings and things like that, right? So I mean, it is funny how someone is supposed to really keep switching their ideas of things as they go along their life, right? Obviously when you become an artist for yourself, you're going to do your own thing anyway. But it's how a lot of those, old subconscious beliefs of, is my art better, or can I be doing this better? That's how they kind of get stuck in there, right?
Yeah, they do. It's sorry, it's a kind of conditioning. Well, it is a conditioning, but we've come from a whole tradition of suppression, and in so many ways, and art is definitely up there, and one of the ones that is number one seen as unimportant, not really necessary. And at school, they're teaching skills. They think that teaching you skills of spatial skills and how to draw and all of this sort of stuff. But as they do that, they are inadvertently, I think, just crushing your creative spirit. And school does that, which is why I created the I Am program, which is Arts Connected Emotional Intelligence workshops, to just bring back that sense of empowerment that and connect that with love and happiness, and that we are all creative, and that really, I mean, that's probably the answer earlier that I gave, that it's been very important to me to find my own relaxation and calm with art, and not compare, and just be and just create. And it's important to me to teach that in any way that I can. So really, that's why Facebook or all of those other social media that I use is so important to me, because it's about that. It's just another opportunity to say, everything you do, every mark you make is unique. Even if you're copying something, it's still your mark. You're practicing. There's a difference between practicing, learning to draw, which anybody can. Anyone can learn to draw. I did it from being very abstract and, because I wanted to know how to do it. I felt I wasn't very good at that. And I learned how to draw. So, there's a difference between that and expressing yourself. And when you can combine them, then that's awesome. But the expression is something that's far deeper, goes far further than just art or any other subject.
Actually, can you tell us a little bit more about the I Am program? Because by the time the viewers are watching, the I Am program is actually hosted on the Wild and Creative website, and I'm hosting it for Arna on there, and you can take part in it. It's an amazing, amazing program, but I'd love for you just to share a little bit about that.
Okay, I'm happy to. The I Am program is the mother program. I am meaning I am here now. No justification or qualification necessary. I am here now, and I am connected. And it's bringing everything into this. I've got little children behind me. It's bringing everything into this very important moment where you then express yourself from here. The I Am program is it has a lot of different. Django, I need to just speak for a little while, okay? A little bit longer. It has many, many little tiers, little offshoots. It was created for schools and homes and communities and their little art workshops and lesson plans and a whole programs, actually. Big Spirit, which is an Indigenous one, and I have Kids in Touch Kit, which I also, which is 20 values connected kind of art lessons. But then I've come off to another area, which is more adult orientated, and I Am Change, which is the one that we're going to do together, is beautiful. It's like, it incorporates, have I got one behind me? Hello. They sneak in. It incorporates all of the things that I've found that worked for me over these last 44 years, well, take 16 off, the last 30 years that I've been actively discovering stuff. And it also involves a creative component too. It's personal development.
It's personal development with a very creative and empowered aspect.
Yes, it does. It's about empowerment. It's about coming back here and just going, nah, this is it. I'm not going to compromise myself anymore. It doesn't, because you don't need to. It's about learning self-acceptance, self-love, all of the things that we hear people talking about. But it's just, it's like down to the nitty-gritty. Let's just come back and let's just do it. Let's be present and let's breathe and let's relax the body and let's create. And along the way you discover your discomforts and your insights, and really it's extraordinarily powerful. I get quite passionate about it. The I Am program has led me into all of these sort of beautiful places where I just can't get enough of it and want to share it with as many people as possible.
Do you have a method that you could share that you have used over the years that could really help people or female entrepreneurs that are getting into their own business or even have their own business now? What worked for you? Like, what helped you create your most authentic career?
Oh, it's probably going to sound like such a cliche, but it really was perseverance. And it's sort of like I knew that I was I was having some success. That's what I noticed, and people will notice. I was having some success with what I was doing, a little bit of success, selling some things privately and at the markets and stuff. And I branched out, and it was a little bit of a slow kind of branching out at first. But I had a love for it. Honey, can I just talk just for a sec? Thanks. Doing funny things in the background, making little noises and stuff.
I'm sure a lot of people watching will have children. It's not a big deal.
I know, that's okay. I'm just trying to focus. Yeah. So yeah, it's really about perseverance. It's about loving what you're doing. Like, I'd find myself veering off in getting anxious because, how do I do it? I don't know how to do it. And then I'd go, hang on, just ask the question. How is this done? How is this done? And then in that soft space, I would find the answer. Someone would say something, I'd get a prompt, and then I'd follow through. And, oh my God.
I love it. Anyway. I love it.
He's frustrated. He wants me to talk to him now.
Well, truly, you have persevered. Absolutely. I mean, even someone who is a mother of one or a mother of two, you've been a mother 8 times, right? So, yeah. I mean, that's taken up many years of your life, but you've also persevered and done your own art and done your own thing too. So, I mean, that's amazing in its own way.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, where can people find you? So,
okay. Yes. Where can people find me? Well, I am in the process of revamping my website, but I think I'm everywhere. I think if you put in Arna Baartz, I just come up now all over the place. So you can usually find me.
Yeah, your website is theartofkundalini.com, right?
Yeah.
And then you're on Facebook at facebook.com/Arna Baartz.
Arna Baartz artist,
right? And if you would like to take Arna's I Am Change program, you can go to wildandcreative.com under DIY programs. It is there, and learn all about how that might be able to help you or empower you or even just set you on a totally new path in your life. And Arna, I've got one more question for you. What is it that makes you wild, creative, and confident?
Oh, okay. What does make me wild? Well, my children make me a bit wild. No, they do. They bring out that inner beast, and they give me a kind of permission. But I think that there's more to it than that. Creative and confident. I've had to work on the confidence. I've had to take specific kind of personal action to develop my confidence, and that's probably where I Am Change came about, because I just knew if I was going to make a success of the business, I would really need to develop my confidence. And that was definitely a journey, and is a journey still. And I'm kind of loving it now, thankfully. And what makes me creative? It's the connection with all it is. I just cannot be not creative. We just are creative. And wild, I'm wild. I don't know. I think I always was a bit wild. They couldn't really keep me in a box. I keep climbing out of the box. They push me down. You have a very amazing story, and I thank you so much for being on here. I'm sure listeners got a lot out of your creative, wild spirit, and you're an amazing artist, and it's amazing that you really set aside that time to do art so often. And that's definitely something that's very, very special about you. So I thank you so much for being on, and everybody, you can read about Arna in her bio, and there'll be links to all of her where you can find her and her I Am Change program. And I thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you.